your Srinivas sir, and today we'll start learning AP State Board Class 10 Physical Science first lesson, Heat. This lesson basically starts with the fundamentals of heat and temperature. In your previous classes, we studied few things about heat. Say that we will measure the temperature with the help of thermometer. So, thermometer is an instrument to measure the temperature, and we know that thermometers are two types basically, right? In fact, there are several varieties and several types, but in your class 7 you study thermometers of two types. One is laboratory thermometers, another one is clinical thermometer. Laboratory thermometers, we will use it in the laboratories. Clinical thermometers, we will use it in the doctors. Nowadays, in the COVID conditions, when you go to shopping malls, supermarkets, they are using some sort of thermometers for thermal screening. They are also comes under thermometer, right? Now, let us go to the lesson with an activity. The activity 1 in the textbook asked you to take two pieces of same or identical volume and size. One is made up of wood, another one is made up of metal. Take these both and keep them inside a refrigerator. Place them both in the fridge. When we place the things in the fridge, what we'll observe? They are going to become cool. By some time, they'll become cool. Now, by touching these two with your hand, what you can identify which will be cooler and which will be hotter. Accordingly, we can say that one will be cooler than the other, especially metal appears cooler than wood. Metal piece appears cooler than wood. What is the reason for this? What is the reason for the difference in the coldness? What is the reason? Guess what may be the reason? The reason behind it is when you touch the metal or wood piece, you feel that they are cold, which means some heat energy is traveling. Heat energy is traveling from your hand to the object. Or, in other words, the transfer of heat will tell you, the transfer of heat from your body to the object will reveal an experience for you that object is colder or hotter. So here if you feel the metal is colder than wooden piece, right? You feel that metal piece is cooler than the wooden piece. It means that more energy is traveling from the metal piece. More energy is traveling. More heat energy travels from your hand to the metal piece than wooden piece. So a quick transmission of heat energy from your hand to the metals will give you the experience of coolness. And when compared with wood, the transfer of heat energy from your hand to the metal is greater in degree. So, in simple words, we can say that this is the temperature. Can you define the temperature? Degree of hotness or coolness. Temperature can be expressed in simple words by degree of hotness or coldness. Right, this is the conventional definition for the temperature. Now, how long this transfer of the heat energy will continue? How long this energy transfer will continue when you touch the wooden piece or metal piece? How long it will continue? Up to some extent, for some time. Now, why this transfer of heat energy from your hand to the object stops at some region, stops after some time, as they acquire thermal equilibrium. What is called this thermal equilibrium? Thermal equilibrium is a state. Thermal equilibrium is a state between two objects. Which occurs when, until or unless the temperatures become same. Thermal equilibrium is a state where the objects which were in contact, their contact is called thermal contact. Thermal contact. So the bodies which are in thermal contact stops exchanging the heat energy when they achieve thermal equilibrium. What is thermal equilibrium? Once again, it is a state with respect to temperatures of the bodies which are in thermal contact when their temperatures are equal. Let us say I will take two objects. A is at T1 degree centigrade and B is another object which is at T2 degree centigrade. Are they at the same temperature when a question comes? T1 is not equal to T2. Now in this condition, if I take two objects A and B, now I bring them contact with each other. So I made such an arrangement that A and B will touch each other. This is called thermal contact. In this thermal contact, when I keep as their temperatures are not same, the heat will travel from one object to another object. Either may be from A to B or B to A based on whichever is greater. If T1 is greater than T2, then heat energy will travel from A to B. heat energy will travel from A to B. In other, if the opposite case, heat energy is traveling from B to A, right? So how long they will exchange the heat energy? Unless they come to a common temperature which is in between them. That temperature is called equilibrium temperature. So this equilibrium temperature will be smaller than the greater temperature and greater than the lower temperature. Remember, thermal equilibrium will be in between the higher and lower temperature. So if I consider thermal equilibrium and hot body, thermal equilibrium will be lower. If I consider the thermal equilibrium and cool body, thermal equilibrium will be greater. For example, for an instance, if I take 100 degrees as a hot body Celsius and the other one, the second object is at 70 degrees centigrade, thermal equilibrium will lie in between. The state of thermal equilibrium will lie in between. Once the pair of objects which are in thermal contact achieves the thermal equilibrium, there is no more heat exchange. At thermal equilibrium, bodies will not exchange heat. No heat will travel. This state is called thermal equilibrium. So, thermal equilibrium is a state we say that bodies are at same temperature. So, thermal equilibrium is a state where bodies will not exchange any kind of heat across them. This is called thermal equilibrium. In this, we understand few things. Let me revise. The degree of hotness or coldness is called temperature, and this temperature, if they are different temperatured bodies were brought in contact, then heat energy will travel across them. How long this will take place? Until they attain a common temperature. That common temperature is called thermal equilibrium and it is denoted with T. This thermal equilibrium temperature will be in between the hotter or higher temperature and the lower temperature. Thank you.